I'm so fucking done with this era of gaming discourse where every new game is declared dead upon the second it's revealed. Not after the beta, not after experiencing the game, not after the launch, literally the announcement. It doesn't even matter what it is anymore. If it's multiplayer, if it's from a big publisher, if it's from a studio that you know and love, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't fit into someone's imaginary perfect game that they can only imagine in their stupid heads, it's dead. You got people from all over claiming it's slop, claiming it's failure, claiming that the studio should be shut down because they clearly have no idea of what they're doing anymore. And let's be honest, most of the people pushing this narrative don't even fucking play games. They're video game tourists coming into the space to cause problems, to say this sucks, that's ugly, you're all fucking stupid for liking this and playing it. Meanwhile, they don't play a goddamn thing. They all just want it to fail so that they can say, I told you so. Which is exactly what's happening right now with Guerrilla Games' newest PlayStation multiplayer exclusive, Horizon Hunter's Gathering. A game that was immediately branded Concord 4 by none other than Asmongold. Not because it's bad, not because the game is broken, not because he's actually played it and then decided that it sucks. Of course not. That would be asking too much of somebody like this. And it's not even because PlayStation has had a pretty rocky record of multiplayer releases. No, it's because of the character design. It's because they think that the people behind this game are a bunch of rainbow flag loving weirdos and that all they want to do is insert their trans ideals into the game and that it should die because of that. But that's not the case, and you're dumb for thinking that. At this point, you gotta ask whether people actually want games to succeed or they just want more failures to point and laugh at. At some point, it stops being skepticism. At some point, you have to realize that when people see a game, they actually have no hope for it being good. They actively want it to fail. And it's becoming a problem because what's happening is that you're starting to see an influence of people who have no desire to actually play good games or have games succeed. All they want to do is be known as the person who can say, I'm claiming that this game is dead, and the people who like me are gonna believe me, and now nobody's gonna play this game. And it's gonna fail, and it's gonna be because we told you so. When in fact, it's not at all. Now, let's be totally real here, okay? I'm not the biggest Horizon fan in the world. I think Horizon overall, while it does look insanely beautiful, they are some of the most beautiful looking games ever. The art style is excellent. The world is beautiful. The graphics are stunning, okay? You cannot deny that. But I hate Aloy. I think she's a terribly written character. I don't love the gameplay, and I think the games are kind of stale. At best, to me, they're like 7.58s. Which means, yeah, they're still good games. They're just not this like 10 out of 10 masterpiece that a lot of people claim they are. And I really think it's a little bit strange that PlayStation is pushing so hard for Horizon to be like the main PlayStation game. Sure, it appeals to all sorts of different ages and all sorts of different people, which is great. The more people playing, the better. But do I think it deserves all these different spin-offs and sequels? No. There's different games they could do. Especially it's like, you know, they canceled The Last of Us Online and they're doing this. Let's be real here, right? Now, looking at Horizon Hunter's Gathering, I don't see any problem with it. I think it's got a really cool painterly art style that's seen in things like Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, and like the Puss in Boots movie, and it just looks nice. It's really got an interesting art style that helps it stand out from the other Horizon MMO that's being developed by Nexon. That game looks like Horizon. It looks like it borrows directly from the art style that we know in the PS5 games, while this game is trying something new to separate itself, to let you know that you're gonna get a different Horizon experience here. And there's nothing wrong with that. This game looks a lot like it's adapting Elden Ring Night Rain, and that you're gonna go with a few friends into a map that's getting smaller, you're gonna go on these hunts like you're playing Monster Hunter, you're gonna kill these giant robot dinosaurs, and you're gonna come back, upgrade your stuff, do it all over again. Cool. I'm cool with that. The gameplay looks interesting. The character designs are very varied. I can see that a lot of people are extremely pissed that there's a female character that's huge. She's huge. But she's supposed to be huge because she's supposed to be like a tank and she's supposed to be really strong. So it makes sense that she's huge and not that she's a tiny, frail little girl. And then I can also see that people are mad that the other girl has pink hair, which again leads to these people being like, of course they do. They're trans. They gotta push their hair aesthetics onto everything because it's all gotta be blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Play the goddamn game. Is it weird that you can't make your own character in a game like this? A little bit. I think if they had that option, people would choose it, and that you could have these pre-made characters as well that have their own specific abilities, and that your guy kind of starts as a blank slate and you could build them up however which way you want to. If you gave people the option for that, I'm sure they would go for it. But that's not to say that these designs are bad. They fit certain character archetypes, and that's just what it is. There's nothing really wrong with that. The issue is that you have a problem with the character being fat, or the girl having pink hair or whatever. Maybe chill out, man. It's not that big of a deal. So I wanted to read this tweet in specific. Can't roll my eyes any harder to some of the reactions to Horizon Hunter's Gathering. I'm increasingly of the opinion that Sony's own fanbase is now holding the company hostage. You people yearn for the PS3 era, yet conveniently forget it was full of experimental multiplayer games. And Colin Moriarty, of course, excellent host of Sacred Symbols. Well said, though I think it goes just beyond this. Much of the discourse is being increasingly controlled by tourists, at best, that blatantly don't play games, who weren't even on PlayStation 3 during that era, and speak about topics they don't at all understand. It's obvious, and I 100% agree. It is obvious. Gaming has been completely infiltrated by a bunch of moronic idiots who have no goddamn clue about anything that they're talking about, and all they want to do is fuel the fire and go out there and claim that everything is dying, everything's garbage, everything's woke, and everything deserves to be shut down immediately. And it's stupid as fuck, man, and it's so goddamn annoying. I gotta disagree with this guy. The PS3 era was full of experimental multiplayer games. The only difference is that the experimental multiplayer games during the PS3 era were nowhere close to the budget that they are today. For example, Horizon Hunter's Gathering, almost like all of Guerrilla is focused on that game right now, so of course it's a large budget, big scale game. This just means that Horizon 3 is going to be pushed to PS6 for sure, probably a launch title, and it'll be a graphical showcase, but there's a big difference between the PS3 multiplayer era and the PS5 multiplayer era for sure. Either way, the point still stands. You have people infiltrating the space who have absolutely no clue. They don't hate Horizon because they played it and they thought it was a bad game. They hate Horizon simply because it features Aloy as the main character, and they don't want to play as a girl. And they don't want to play as a girl unless they deem that that girl is attractive. For example, they all love Stellar Blade, but I'll tell you one thing about Stellar Blade, all right? They didn't play it. There's no fucking way they played it. They liked the character design. They liked pictures of the character. Same thing with Bayonetta. Big fan. Nobody played it. I guarantee you all of the people claiming that, oh, it's the greatest. Oh, you didn't fucking play it, man. You didn't play it. You're just out here hating the game because it doesn't live up to whatever expectations you have in your stupid 5 IQ brain, and you're trying to force that on everything. You think all these games that just don't fit this perfect ideal of what you want the game to be means that it's gonna die. And you haven't played it. And I'm sick of it, man. I'm honestly sick of it. The game actually looks fun. It looks like a fun multiplayer game that is inspired by Elden Ring Nightline, that is inspired by Monster Hunter, and that it looks like you could just play with a few of your friends and kill some giant robots and have a pretty decent time doing it. Does it deserve this kind of hate? No, it doesn't. And I don't even like Horizon that much, dude. But let's be real here. Some of these people gotta shut the fuck up.